Hey, Stone Cousins. You already know what time it is. Animated horror stories. Animated horror stories. Where are we at today? We are at our good cousin's SSG Animations house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. As always, feel free to go over there. It sounds like I'm inviting you, but I'm really telling you what to do. Go over there, subscribe over there. If you don't want to watch the content with me, that is the perfect place and time to do it. Go over there and watch it by yourself, you know? And yeah, subscribe, jump in the comments, say your favorite cousin sent you. Other than that, go grab a blunt, grab a bottle of water, grab a bag of chips, and grab a blanket just in case. Just in case you need to be snug. And let's get all up in here. Like the video. You see? Oh, two true Stalker horror stories animated. I think I already said that, but if I didn't, that's what we're doing.
It was a night like any other. I was at home, relaxing on my couch,
Mm.
with a horror movie on TV and a bowl of popcorn in my hands.
Oh, man.
Everything indicated that it was just going to be another Friday night. Nothing indicated to me that this night would turn into one of the scariest experiences of my life. It all started with a faint but persistent sound, a soft scratching on the front door. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but the sound continued, getting louder and louder and more insistent. I got up from the couch to investigate what it was. I wasn't scared at the time, just confused and very curious. When I reached the door, I hesitated before opening it. There was no one visible outside, just the darkness of the night. However, something inside me told me that all was not well. I decided to ignore my nerves and open the door, only to find the street empty. I sighed in relief, still wondering what it was that I heard, and beginning to consider that maybe it had been just wind, and
I
then my
mean,
imagination had played a trick on me. But just as I was about to close the door, I
okay,
heard a low, sinister laugh behind me.
in
I
your
turned
house?
around quickly, but saw no one. I
Leave.
admit that at that moment, I did get scared. But
Duh.
again, I thought it had come from the TV, and I was just being suggestible. I decided to lock the door and go back to my movie, trying to forget what had just happened. However, the atmosphere was no longer the same. Every little noise made me jump,
It be
and
that.
my house felt darker and bigger than ever. I was really uncomfortable and considered taking out the horror movie and putting on some distracting comedy. But I didn't do it. I was always a very proud person and wasn't going to let my imagination play such a trick on me. A few minutes passed, and
Say
although
so.
I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head, the uneasy feeling persisted. It was then that I heard another sound, so I put the movie on pause and concentrated on those sounds. As I listened to them, I realized that it couldn't be my imagination.
Girl, you didn't get yourself a
Those
weapon or
were
nothing.
footsteps approaching down the hallway outside my house.
Mm.
My heart began to pound
Go to the
as I got
kitchen,
up
get a
from the
weapon.
couch and slowly approached the door.
Why?
The footsteps stopped in front of my door, and for a moment there was a silence that left me paralyzed, waiting for the person to ring my doorbell or reveal why they were standing outside my door.
Nothing
I
good.
thought that person couldn't see me, but after standing behind the door for a few seconds, I heard a whispering voice, barely audible, but crystal clear.
Can you open the door, please?
I
For
was
what?
petrified. The door was not transparent, and the window was too high for them to see that I was behind the door. How did they know I was there? Maybe they didn't know. But then, why would they whisper? At that moment, I thought of many things to answer, but I
Tell
didn't
them
say
back they
any of
ass
those
up away from your
things.
door.
I really couldn't muster the courage to answer this person. And before I could muster the courage to do so, the door began to shake violently from the outside. I stepped back instinctively, feeling fear take hold of me. From 1 second to the next, the pounding became much, much louder and more violent. It was as if the person behind the door was trying to throw her out. Couldn't he see that it was reinforced? There was no way he could get in. From one moment to the next, the noise stopped. Was it gone? I slowly approached the door and locked out the small window above it, waiting to see if anyone would appear. To my surprise, there was no one on the other side of the door. No man, no strange noises, no nothing.
So you say.
Surely everything was over. Or at least I
That's
thought
what
it
you thought.
was.
I don't know why.
My tranquility lasted very little, because when I was calming down and sighing with relief, I heard a very soft noise, but it terrified me more than anything else I had heard so far. It was a soft and slow creaking sound. It was the back door opening slowly. At that moment, I realized something. I forgot to lock the back door. At that
Girl,
moment, I didn't really have any reaction but to run to my room terrified,
I
making
mean,
as little noise as possible.
I'd run
Once
outside.
inside,
I'm always
I
trying to
thought
get
about
outside.
calling the police, but my phone was in the living room,
Don't piss me off.
right next to the
Don't
door.
piss me off. Don't piss me off. Because why would you run to your room, not think, let me grab my phone? I understand you're thinking in the heat of the moment, but you just realized you left, you just realized, oh my God, what'd she say? Oh my God, I left the back door open. That's one thing. But oh my God, I left the back door open and I left my phone in the living room. That's too much now. Now you're pissing me off. You was already doing the most when you heard the stranger outside and you still decided to go outside. While you heard something outside, you still opened the door. That was the most, if you didn't know. That's called the most. Is you hear something on the TV, you pause it, go next to the door. I heard some commotion by the door, and then you go by the door. That's come on now. And now you just, I was feeling bad, but
I
now it's like,
couldn't risk leaving
how?
my room. Instead, I stood there, watching helplessly through the latch of my room, as if someone was approaching.
They might.
It was there! The man who had come in
Who
through
is
the kitchen
that?
was standing behind my door, staring at me. I desperately ran to the window, opened it, and looked down.
How far up are you?
No, this was a bad idea.
How far
If
up
I
are you?
jumped out, I would crash straight into the concrete.
Ah,
The best I could do at that moment was to stay there, safely in my room. Suddenly, I heard small knocks behind the door.
mm.
Hello? Can you open the door, please?
Get away! I'll call the police!
Like, sir, why are you in
I
my
just
house?
want to come in.
You're already
Open
in the
up,
house.
please.
All I could do was fall on the floor and cry, desperate and not knowing what to do. Seconds passed, minutes passed, and I even felt like an hour might have passed.
Wait, my
But the
turn.
man was still there, subtly knocking on the door, asking politely if he could come into my room.
Sounding insane.
Suddenly,
Really.
after a long time, the knocking stopped. I peeked again through the bolt of the door,
He's still
and
there.
there was no one there.
He's still there.
I thought about going out and taking the opportunity to escape from the house. But this could be a terrible mistake. This could be a trap, and the man could be waiting for me downstairs or even before.
You know he is.
I was already safe in my room. Why risk it? I remember debating inside when would be the best time to try and run away when I heard a noise again. This time, the noise was coming from my backyard, right below my window.
Right where you
I
were about
opened
to
my
drop?
window and looked down, curious as to what I might find.
Him?
He was there, the man who was stalking me. He was climbing up to my bedroom window, climbing up the roof tiles to my house. How could he be doing that? How much strength did he have? This was the first time I saw his face. He looked lost,
I could've
but at the
sworn we'd
same
seen it the
time,
other day.
full of determination. This man was seriously dangerous, and he was willing to do anything to catch me. I took this opportunity to open the door to my room and run as fast as I could to the exit. On the way, I heard the man jump off the tiles and try to catch me before I reached the exit. But he was too far away, and I was able to get out in time. I ran down the street in desperation until, on my way to the police station, I met a patrol car and asked for help.
However,
I told the policeman everything that was happening, and they went to my house. The man was gone, or so we thought at first. After I insisted that they search my house, they finally found him. He was hiding in my closet, waiting for the cops to leave.
you nasty.
The man was arrested immediately. I went to testify about everything that happened to me. But to be honest, I was not interested to know what had happened. The man may not have attacked me, or I may never have known his intentions, but I am really content with not knowing them. I know I was in danger that night like no other. Sometimes I can't help but imagine what that man could have done to me if he caught me. The only conclusion I come to is that whatever I imagined, what would have really happened to me would have been much, much worse.
That story is that story was a little runaround.
Hey guys, my name is Wendy. At first glance, I may look like a normal girl. And mostly, I am. But behind that normal
Normally
girl,
when they say that, they're not.
there
though.
was a life that not many would envy. You see, for as long as I can remember, I haven't lived an easy life.
All right.
My mother raised me alone, since my father abandoned me and my mother when I was very young. My mother was very poor, but she still raised me as best as she could until the day she died. I worked when I was very young, and when my mother passed away, things didn't get much better. In the beginning, everything had started off very well. I met Aaron at my job, and although we both quit after a while, we remained friends until eventually he became my boyfriend.
Lovers?
He was very supportive, but gradually became more and more possessive. At first, every time a man talked to me, he would make jokes about being jealous. Eventually,
watch out.
he started to
Truth
get
is a joke.
really angry.
'Cause
When we
they're
moved in
joking.
together, the jealousy grew enormously to the point where he started monitoring my social media and arguing with me, banging furniture in the house and insulting
Arguing
me.
over what?
I was on the verge of leaving him many times, But not only did I not dare for fear of what might happen to me, but I was also afraid to leave him. I don't
Y'all got to report, like, in abusive situations, in creep situations, you have to report. Just leave a trail. Take pictures on top of pictures on top of pictures of what's happening in this on the side. Take little recordings. Do whatever it takes in silence to leave a little paper trail, so if anything does happen at the end of the day, you have proof that you had tried and tried and tried. And that's for men and women.
know. It was a very confusing time. And he told me that if I left him, no one else would be with me. And I believed him. I thought he was right to be angry.
How would you
And
believe?
if I didn't talk to anyone, he would calm down. When it all happened, I was still in a relationship with Aaron. But he wasn't my biggest worry. It all started on a normal day when I was coming home from work. I was very tired and just wanted to go to sleep. The last few days, I had been overworking because Aaron had been fired from his job, and he wanted to take a vacation before he continued his search. That day, I was walking back so I wouldn't spend money on the bus. I lived about 10 blocks away anyway. It was dusk.
I was trying not to say nothing. But then it's like, if he was a good men get whatever they deserve, whatever they want, whatever they need. Good men. That's what they get. You're working extra to take this abusive bastard on a vacation before he go back to work, and you're walking home. Don't piss me off. Like your
And
blunt.
there
That's
weren't
not
many
like your blunt.
people in the neighborhood.
Cause
So when I
what?
saw a man a few blocks behind me, I started to get scared. At first, I thought it was all a big coincidence.
It's not.
So I
It
started
never
making
is.
strange and senseless turns. I was half a block behind him, so I felt I could do it. After going all those blocks, I could see that the man was still behind me. That man was definitely following me. I made a
That kinda look like
surprise
your
turn
man.
at the corner and started to run. I hid in a supermarket when the man had lost sight of me, and I could see him from the window. He was
Look it.
looking for me. But after a few seconds, he kept walking. After that, I ran home and arrived peacefully. Once at home, I decided not to tell Aaron anything, so as not to worry him, and went to sleep.
Ugh,
I
you
was
gotta watch it.
terrified of what happened that day, but I thought it was something that would not happen again. I was very wrong.
Because of
The
the
worst was yet to come. From that day on, I started taking the bus just in case.
Aaron, you
I
better.
didn't believe
Good.
the man would appear twice in a row, but I preferred to be careful rather than risk something like that happening again.
It
I was
ghetto.
on the bus for several days, attentive and looking everywhere, until one day, I was not attentive, and I made the mistake of not taking the bus. That day, I had a big argument with Aaron. I went out late to take the bus, but the bus had left a little while ago, and I knew the next one would be in about 20 minutes. There was no way I was going to make it on time if I waited for the bus, so I had to walk.
It's still
I
worth the
figured
wait.
nothing serious could happen anyway, so I would walk at a brisk pace. I walked the first 2 blocks at high speed, and that's when I realized once again
You're
I
being followed.
wasn't alone.
I think
The
it's
man
Aaron.
from before was behind me, walking much faster than last time, and following
away.
me as usual. The man was dressed exactly the same, as if that was his outfit to harass me.
Y'all think it's Aaron? Because who else could it be? And the last time she got home, he was just sleeping peacefully. I think it's Aaron.
I immediately tried to lose him like last time. so I started to take unusual paths and move farther and farther away, turning around whenever I could. Every time I came to a corner and got out of sight of my stalker, I would run and see if I could get somewhere. But this was a time when everything was closed.
Ah,
I no longer cared about getting to work on time.
what?
I
Dude?
just wanted to get away from this man before it was too late.
Oh no, that don't look like Aaron.
As I continued to run away,
Was he
I
hired
ran
by
with
Aaron?
all my speed. As soon as I turned a corner and decided that no matter what happened, I wasn't going to stop. I was very agitated, but after about 2 blocks, I just stood there, trying to breathe. The good thing is that I looked back and the man was gone. I didn't know
He
if
gonna be
I had
behind you?
lost him or if he just realized that I was running away from him
No.
and it wasn't worth chasing me anymore.
He's gonna be behind.
Whatever the case, I was safe. Or at least,
I thought.
I thought I
think.
was.
He behind you?
Out of nowhere, when I least expected it,
What'd I say?
a silhouette appeared in front of me
Oh, in front
and
of you.
put his hands on my neck,
It's Aaron!
pushing me against the wall. I was really surprised
What
and
did I
tried to free
say?
myself from my stalker's grip. But at that moment, I realized
It's
that this person
Aaron!
was not the same person who was following me a while ago. It was Aaron.
So what are you
Aaron
doing?
was in front of me, furious like I had never seen him before. He was choking me hard, but holding me against the wall so I couldn't move.
Aaron, what
Even
the
though
fuck?
I could breathe, he was hurting me.
Do you think I was born yesterday? You think
Yeah.
I don't know you're seeing someone?
Aaron,
Bro,
have you gone crazy?
he has.
What do you mean?
He's dumb.
Don't play with me. As soon as you left, I followed you in the car. This is not the way to your work.
Aaron, what the fuck you mean you followed her in the car? Because my good sis Wendy, I think she said at the beginning of this, I believe she said she'd been taking the bus and walking. So what do you mean? You followed her in the car. Whose car, Aaron? I put my blunt out, but light it back up. Light it back
Were
up.
you running and dodging me to get lost?
Ain't nobody
You
see
knew
you,
I was following
stupid.
you, didn't you?
No! I was running from you! There was a man following me and...
You liar! Your lover lives around here, doesn't he? What does he look like?
Aaron,
Were you planning
boy,
to leave me?
I hope this man.
Or were you
pop
having
out.
fun cheating on me?
I hope he pop out and
You're
snap
a monster.
Your neck. or
You know that?
something.
You're hurting me.
It's the least you deserve. I'm at home all day waiting for you,
Doing
and you
nothing.
do this to me? Maybe if I teach you a lesson, you'll learn to be a better person. This is for your own good.
Where's the man?
His arms were squeezing my
Where's the
neck
man?
tighter and tighter.
Where's the man?
Aaron
Pop out.
didn't realize it. But
Where's the
not
man?
only was I running out of air, I felt like my neck was about to break.
Oh,
Every
where's the
second
man at?
felt like it could be the
Crazy,
last
right?
of my
We're
life.
looking for the stalker.
And
Where's
there was
he at?
absolutely nothing I could do. We were in broad daylight.
And he's
but
just
still,
being
There
dumb.
was no one on the street. There was
Making
no one
no
to
sense.
defend me. Suddenly, I stopped feeling Aaron choking me
Uh-huh.
and fell to the ground coughing.
Because the man popped out.
Aaron
and
wasn't
choked
hurting
niggas?
me anymore. He was fighting someone. It was my stalker.
Yep, tear that ass
He had
up,
jumped
stalker.
on top of him
I'm
and
sorry.
hit him.
We need you
The
right
fight
now.
between the two men became
Uh-huh.
more and more violent.
Tear his ass
My
up,
only
sir.
reaction was to run.
Yeah, because not
Run.
nan. So proud of you, Wendy, because some other people that we know that we've seen in these stories, they would have stayed, they would have watched, they would have probably recorded. We've seen one like that. You need to go. Why? Because not nan men ain't got not nan good interest. Not nan man got nan good interest in your well being. Okay? One of them's a stalker and one of them's your man who I'm sure you thought you would be happy to see. You thought he was coming to save you. He came out the cut and started choking you? Are you dumb? She's running for her life. Yes, stalker, beat
As
Aaron's
fast as I
ass.
could and get home.
Run
I
with me,
ran
run.
as fast as I could until I got there and locked the door,
Keep
fell
running.
to the floor, and
Why would you
cried
go
myself
home,
to
baby girl?
sleep.
You need to go somewhere
It
else. Cause
seemed
don't
like
Aaron live there
hours,
too?
but I had only fallen asleep for a few minutes. I was awakened by a loud sound at the door
Was
that
it
made
12?
me jump in fear. For a minute, I had forgotten where I was.
You went
I
home.
had forgotten everything that had happened.
I
But
wouldn't.
when I saw two
Good
policemen behind the door, I
Agreed.
remembered everything in a second. The cops told me that they had to take me with them to the police station. Not because I had
Are they
done
both
anything
arrested?
wrong, nor was I
I'm okay
being
with
blamed
that,
for
too.
anything. They were asking me to go with them to witness what happened in that fight. Tired, I agreed to go, expecting to meet Aaron, asking me to lie for him. But what I found was a totally different scenario. Upon arriving at the police
Did
station,
he hire
I met
him,
my
like I
stalker.
said? Who was
When we were
that?
face to face, the man spoke to me. He seemed to know me
Who is that?
until he revealed who he was.
Okay.
This man
Was?
was my father. When
Oh!
he came out
Good
after
shit.
hours,
Hi,
he
Pop.
told me his whole side of the story.
Okay.
My mother never told him she was pregnant, and when she confessed to him in a moment of desperation, my mother
wasn't shit?
ran away and never showed up again. The reason? She simply wanted to raise me alone.
Oh.
She
your
didn't
mom
want
ain't
to be
shit.
with my father or anyone else.
Oh.
And knowing my mom, I believed her. My father
Alright.
was looking for me everywhere.
How nice.
And when he finally found me, he couldn't bring himself to talk to me. He didn't know what I knew about him.
So he was following
And he
you
was
creepily?
very honest in telling me that he was always a very hermit-like person.
Oh,
He doesn't
okay.
know how to approach and interact with people. And this situation with me terrified him. But all his fear vanished.
I'm sorry, Dad, but I think you didn't you chase her down? Like, I understand you following her, but if you see her dipping and dodging, if someone start making three lefts and a right, you gotta fall back just a little bit. You can follow her again another day. I understand, but like, come on, you scared the shit out of her. Like, and then the second day, didn't you run after her? What were you gonna do when you caught up? Oh, well, we were gonna say, hey, I'm sorry, to catch you off guard like this, but I'm your dad. Like, well, that's crazy. Don't chase after me. Like,
With me terrified him.
hmm
But all his fear vanished when he saw Aaron attack me. Speaking of
you
Aaron,
took a little long.
this situation was
You
the
did
limit.
take a little long.
I reported him and found out
You
that
took
he
long.
already had several reports of domestic violence.
Mm,
Today, he doesn't come near me anymore because of the restraining order.
good.
But he still sends me psychopathic and threatening messages.
Fuck him.
As for my father, let's just say we're not the perfect family.
That's okay.
We don't see each other very often.
Aw.
He's really a stranger to me.
Yeah, y'all
But
just
you
met.
know,
He did save your life.
At least we
so
try.
Come on now, let's be
One
let's be
step
kind.
at a time. I know that someday, with time, I might call him father.
You should, bitch. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. He came and saved you. Like, you don't gotta call him every day. You don't have to rekindle the relationship. But the least you can do is call him dad. Thanks, dad. You came and you saved my life when that man was choking the shit out of me. That's what my hand looks like. That's so funny because I hit one of these. Ah, like, let's not be rude. I'm streaming. Oh my goodness. Story one or story two? Like I said, story one was a doozy. Had us running around hip here and there. Old girl needed to do better. Story number two, I meant she didn't leave Aaron in the beginning. Come on now, leave these niggas up for grabs. There's 7 billion people in the world. What make it say what the fuck I looking tripping? I don't want 7 billion. Like, come on now. Like, there's so many people in the world. If that one person is not acting right for you, go find another. If that one don't act right for you, find two more. If they don't act right for you, double it up. All right. Which one was your favorite in the comments? I'm proud of Dad for coming through and popping out. Like I said, he needed to do better with that. Because why would you pop out like that? This is your first time meeting your daughter and you're gonna pop out by stalking her, by walking behind her, chasing her down. She said I was scared of shit. I turned a corner, turned another corner, turned another corner, and he was right there over and over and over. You just thought that was cool. You thought that was okay. I mean, and the mom, like, these kids growing up without parents because these men ain't shit already. You ain't had no business not letting that man be in that little girl life. Because that's probably why she was with Aaron so long to begin with. Because she ain't no real, real male love. Because it was just you and her forever. You ain't had no siblings. She ain't had no uncles. She ain't had no other. Like, come on now. Aaron's tweaked out too. Because why you see your girl hiding? She is hiding behind the damn building. She ain't chilling. She don't look calm, cool, and collective. She looks stressed. And what do you say? Yeah, nigga, live over here or something. Don't he? No, I'm hiding, stupid. Why do we have a car? When did you get a car? And why am I walking to work? If you have a car, you have no job. Your job should be dropping me off to work, picking me up. Oh, that second one. That second one. Let me know your feelings in the comments. Ah, please be sure to subscribe to SSG Animation and do the same over here if you don't mind. Until next time, you guys, I love you. Bye.